Thanks for joining us. Now, crime scene investigators from the headquarters of the Ghana Police Service have visited and picked up valuable pieces of information at the terrace of the Commonwealth Hall of the University of Ghana campus, where an old vandal was allegedly murdered Saturday evening after being stabbed by a friend. The incident has sent shockwaves across the university campus, particularly the Commonwealth Hall. Latif Idris has been following up on the alleged murder case and reports authorities at the university are keeping internal security on high alert and will provide counseling for students traumatized by the act.
Most people who are concerned about this murder case are asking, which still remains a mystery, is the argument that eventually resulted in the stabbing incident, and not even the police could tell. Speaking to Joy News, Public Relations Officer of the Greater Accra Regional Police Command, ASP Ifiatenge, said the police is looking forward to unraveling that mystery from the suspect, who, according to the police, has so far been cooperative with investigations.
From what the police are gathering, there was an argument that ensued between the two of them, which escalated, leading to one of them stabbing the other. As to whether it was a knife or a bottle, that one is yet to be established. And since then, the police has moved in arresting the suspect. Presently, he's in police custody, assisting police in investigations. This morning, the crime scene investigators had to go back to the scene to pick up certain evidential values or information for the purpose of investigation. So it's still under investigation.
We're talking about argument. Has the suspect told the police exactly what they were arguing about?
He has said something, but for now, we are still speaking to witnesses to verify what he told us. So I don't think it's very good for me to put it out there. But there was an argument, which of course has been confirmed by one of you. And but as to whether that was what actually led to the incident, all these ones are yet to be established. And as we speak to people, probably we'll get a clearer picture of what happened.
There have been conflicting reports about the weapon used by the suspect, and the police says they are considering 3 options after crime scene investigators from the headquarters of the Ghana Police Service visited the scene with the suspect Sunday morning.
We've also had these 3 materials also come into play. One, a bottle, the other, a knife, and another kebab sticks. But yet we don't have a confirmation what was actually used in the murder, or what eventually led to the deceased dying. So all these things will be part of the investigations the police is unfolding. His demeanor for now is one that we believe can help us to be able to move forward or proceed in our investigations. He's been very calm after the incident.
Some say he was intoxicated. Did you get any such signals when you picked him up?
I also asked that very question. It is not clear, no.
Meanwhile, the Dean of Students Affairs at the university, Professor F.K. Nunu, tells Joy News the murder incident has become a wake-up call for authorities at the university, who are now putting in measures to provide adequate security for students.
Something that we have been engaging the hall authorities as well as the students. In fact, the student leaders were even in my office on Thursday, and we're engaging on something similar as they plan towards their coming hall week. I've started engaging with them as to how to have a violence-free hall week and all that. And so it's on the agenda at every meeting which Commonwealth is involved. The agenda is to try and reduce violence and to make the campus safer for everyone, all students, staff, and all of us. When these things happen, then everybody will sound unsafe going to that hall.
The police, as part of investigations, has also taken statements from about 9 vandals who were on board the bus and witnessed the arguments that eventually resulted in the murder incident.
Latif Idris's reports there from the university campus. Now, one of our journalists who has been following this story from the very beginning is Maxwell Agbagba. Now, he joins me in the studio now because, Maxwell, you just returned from the university campus where you picked some updates on this matter. But before we go into what you gathered today, take us to the very beginning, because that night of the murder, of the alleged murder, I should say, you were on University of Ghana campus.
Yeah, so I was on University of Ghana campus attending to other things, and then sometime around 8 p.m., information started trickling in about a stabbing incident, you know, at Commonwealth Hall. Initially, the people that I was with, thought that it was a hoax. Because in recent times they've had some messages like that, and especially when school is about to go on recess, usually you find, students sometimes, just sharing those messages because now they have a lot of time on their hand and all of that. So a lot of people thought it was a hoax. Then the information, started coming in again. You had a lot of people, holding discussions about it. Then I said, okay, I need to go to the Commonwealth Hall to go and find out exactly what is happening. But first of all, let me just pass by the Legon police station to see what's happening, because, that should be where whatever that is happening can be confirmed. So I went to the Legon police station, and then I met about 10 men with 3 women, some of them seated on benches outside the Legon police station. All of them looked very worried, some of them in mourning clothes. They wouldn't talk to me, but I went to the police station. 2 men were on duty, and I asked them exactly what had happened, and they confirmed to me that yes, they were dealing with a situation like that, but they kind of confirmed to me whether the victim has passed on or is still, alive. Then I had to develop another strategy to interact with some of the people who attended the funeral. So one of the guys that I put
because this bus was coming from a funeral.
Exactly. And they were not willing to talk to me. So one of the men that I convinced to take away from the crowd actually opened up and told me that they had attended the funeral of one of the old vandals. So they were coming back from the funeral, and then some kind of misunderstanding, started in the bus between 2 of their, colleagues. And then later, when they got back to campus, that misunderstanding was ignited again, and that really started the whole disagreement. And I'm told that led to the stabbing of the deceased. Now, he told me that he actually went to the morgue to confirm if truly his friend was dead, and he told me that yes, he saw the body of the victim, and then he was shocked because earlier he had interactions with both the victim, the deceased, and then the suspect. So he's really shocked that within some hours this person has passed away, and then the suspect also in police cells. But what is interesting is that throughout the time that I was there, the suspect was asleep in the cells, and it sort of corroborated what some people were saying on the ground, that the 2 people involved in this whole brawl, the deceased and then the suspect, were somehow drunk before the incident. Because for the 4 hours, the mother of the suspect was there, his sister was also there, and they wanted to speak to him and find out exactly how the whole thing happened. But there's somebody who had allegedly committed such a crime, put in police cells, and the guy was asleep. And the whole time that we were there, I left around 12 a.m., he was still asleep.
Now, that was that day
of
the incident. Between then and now, so much has happened, because we know that the Old Vandals Association has released a statement saying that the suspect is not an old vandal.
Yeah. Yes.
That is correct?
That's correct. They've released a statement. They released a statement yesterday. But unfortunately, the president of the Old Vandals Association, I spoke to him today, he's not willing to go beyond what has been put out.
Well, in that statement, they said that the Old Vandals Association would not like to speak in public again.
Exactly.
Now, we also know that the university authorities have come out to speak, saying that they'll make sure that, first of all, counseling is provided for the students who may have been traumatized. They've also been saying that, assuring parents out there that both of these persons involved, the suspect and the deceased, are not current students. But when you went to campus today, what did you discover?
Well, I had interactions with the hall master for the Commonwealth Hall, Mr. Frank Nyame. He is also not willing to give further details on the issue. He only told me that he had a management meeting yesterday, and then what's going to happen today is that they would want to ascertain the veracity of the claim that the suspect is also, you know, an old vandal. You know, that's the information that's been making rounds. And in fact, the suspect has been seen many times in the company of, you know, vandals and old vandals.
He's even been identified here on the 1 week celebration
memorial, I mean,
of 1 week memorial of
exactly. When the old vandals came here, he was here. And in fact, I mean, there are pictures making rounds of him in the old, I mean, in the vandal, you know, polo shirt and all of that. And we are picking up information that, I mean, a lot of the events that they attend, they usually, you know, go or attend these programs, you know, with him. So it's interesting to know now that, I mean, they are saying that he's not a member of the, you know, Old Vandals Association. So it's one thing that the authorities are concerned, they would say they want to ascertain the veracity of that claim. I've been interacting with some students on some former students on what they make of the whole situation. We can listen to them now.
I have you, Aaron, here. I mean, first, I want to find out from you, what do you think about this whole issue, students of the University of Ghana?
I think it's unfortunate, first of all. It's a very sad situation. Forget about everything, rivalries or Commonwealth. It's very sad. This is not what, I know the true vandals will say this is not what vandalism is about. It's, I think it was in the heat of the moment, and it's sad. It's something that should never happen again. Not in Commonwealth or not in anywhere in the University of Ghana, any country. No amount of anger should let you take your fellow colleagues' life, and it's very sad, and we solidarize with them.
Okay, Samuel, let me find out from you. There are some schools of thought that suggest that, okay, I mean, a lot of the single-sex, you know, halls of residence are, for one of a better word, are violent. You know, you go to the University of Cape Coast, and school authorities have had issues with some of these single-sex, you know, halls of residence, University of Science and Technology, and all of that. What really do you think is the problem?
Well, I don't think there's just a problem with having single-sex halls. It's more or less turned out to be more like a tradition, more like a culture. It makes the school interested. It cannot only be about academics. Going to the university can only be about academics. And most of these single-sex halls entertain, when, just as you said earlier, when you go to UCC, Casford, when you come to Legon, Commonwealth, you go to KUST, you have Katanga, and then you have Kunti. So there's nothing wrong with it. But the issue is that this act has to be condemned. No amount of words can be used to explain it. No matter, it can happen in a mess hall, it can happen at every point. Human rights are violated at every point in time. You can get instances from many mess halls. The single-sex halls doesn't give room for these things to happen. But it's more or less turning out to be a culture. But all these things will have to be condemned. There is no room of justification for this act to occur.
But what do you think we can do to curb, you know, the situation? I mean, the many incidents of violence that we've had with regarding, you know, single-sex halls.
Like he said, it's not about a situation about single-sex halls. Arguments happen everywhere. There were arguments about political parties, the arguments based on religion, the arguments based on ethnic lines. People should just be tolerant of other people.
Maxwell Agbagba there talking to some old students or former students of the University of Ghana. Thank you very much, Maxwell, for that work that you've done. We'll be getting more of that and other details of that case in later bulletins.